and the hypocrisies and what's being put before you. They knew that. They're like, nigga, you can read this Bible. That's it. You hear me? What, Kayla? What? Oh. But this is in my new book that I'm writing on, right? The people, oh, my mic went out. People need to know this, right? We need to know this type of shit. We can't keep going generation after generation and not knowing this. This is why I advocate for people to connect to your ancestors, or what you call your ancestors, which is your mother and your father, their mothers and fathers, and their mothers and fathers. You got to take that shit serious. They're not going to take it serious for you. See, you want the white man to take that shit serious for you. He don't give a fuck. He got you on autopilot for self-destruction. He is not taking part in your demise no more. He done already set the table for you to destroy yourself. You follow? They can't stand seeing my ass on here. Like, this nigga here. He really love his people. He really give a fuck. Yeah, somebody got to. Right? Somebody has to be the adult. And I told you guys, if you're born between 1965 and 1980, you belong to Generation X, you are in the executive seat. You have to make the executive decision. Even if the people not listening to you. Because y'all know my saying, you can't say that you haven't been told. That's how people want to act after they've been told, like they haven't been told. No, don't say that you haven't been told, right? And know your identity, right? But that's just to put it in context. And the old world language of the families, like I got all the tribes pulled up on this thing. Like, this is really giving you a sense of identity and how to reflect and how to just work with what you know. Start there. Start with what you know, man. A lot of y'all be wanting to go 10,000 years back in history. Man, fuck all of that. Deal with what you know. That's where the power resides in what you know. And what you don't know, those that's closer to what you don't know will open up those corridors for you, right? Because they try to shroud who you are in Germanic linguistics, through the North Germanic, the Western Germanic, right? Bavaric, the Indo-Iranian, the European, you hear me? The Anglo, that's the High German. See, there's a whole bunch of layers to that. And when I hear people talk, I'm like, damn, I could see you all on the damn linguistic tree. And don't none of that shit look like you. But you referring to it. So much to the point that I have to refer to it just to make a reference point for many of you. But you got Persian, you got the Bengali, you got the Russian, the Marathi, right? The Indo-Aryan, which is not the Aryan race that they try to tell you about with Hitler, right? Listen, the original Indo-Aryans is Hindus. This for educational purposes only, TikTok. I am not picking on anyone's race or their pigmentation. But these so-called Western Europeans are albino Hindu. And you got albino Negroid seed as well. And they mix back in together. And that's how these languages came out. Because they mixed back in with the Hindu people, who didn't mind their people learning how to read and write. They wanted them to learn how to read and write. They wanted them to have some discipline and some obedience. They had enough melanin in their body that produced enough neuromelanin for their third eye to open to pick up on the transmissions of their higher self, right? Which is the the oversoul. And now you speaking a language that started to be developed in 1592 with the Act of Supremacy that went on between King Henry VIII and Pope Clemency VII, who didn't want to annul his marriage. And that's what severed the United Kingdom from the Roman Catholic Church. But when they did that, they didn't have a language already set up. They couldn't use Latin because the Romans didn't even know how to speak Latin. They spoke pig Latin. They didn't teach, they didn't have an educational system set up. They didn't think that that was important. That was a quest that you had to figure out on your own during those times. And when people are referencing these scriptures and these books and they're not taking it into consideration, the mind state of the people at that time during the time that they were being receptive to this stuff. They weren't that bright. Even when you're looking in the cuneiform tablets, which really go back about 26,000 years, and those people were in the Neolithic period. Their frontal lobe cortex hadn't fully evolved to that point. They was making simple tools and shit like that, living in mud huts. And a year later, they learned how to build a city out of nowhere. Like, yo, how the fuck this happened? It's because somebody was teaching them and intermingling with them and producing children for later to where they were able to build what you call the Akkadian Empire today, right? And they tried to cover that shit up, right? They cover everything up and turn it into a mile and act like it ain't there and try to build some more. They try to flood it out if they can, but they don't want you to see them records, right? So the Indo-Euro, and I'm going to show y'all this right fast. Hopefully it don't flag me or nothing. Oh, hot as a motherfucker. But that's the old linguistic tree. That's what the linguistic tree looks like. Right? Them all the languages. Let's see where English. See the Hindi? See the Urdu? Those are dialects. Look at English. It's connected to Anglo, Anglo-Frisian, West Germanic. Look at that. The Afrikaans, the Dutch, the Flemish, the Scots, Low German. That's where you got the word God. I was telling y'all about the word God, and y'all love using that word God. That's where that stuff began at. So how many languages can I speak? I can only speak one language. And English is not a language. Like I told y'all, it's made up of Roman numbers, Greek alphabets, some old Germanic, right? Low Germanic, because those people didn't know how to read or write, man. And when I started doing the research, my Supreme Grand Master teacher has a master's degree in linguistics. That's how I know about this stuff. He used to teach us about language. He would always say what the word meant in its original language and then walking into English. And over the course of time, your brain starts to rewire itself and you start doing the same thing too, right? And that's just thorough teaching. But what you're calling the English language, they had to put that together real fast. They had to develop their own Bible, because the Bible that the Romans was reading out of was written in Latin. It wasn't written in English. That's why I be telling y'all there's books missing in English because they didn't know how to transliterate those books into English. Certain books came out of certain languages because that's all Bible means is books, right? Little books put into one. And this stuff has to be addressed. This is how you break through that spell and don't make the mistake of using their ideologies to express yourself. Yeah, exactly. The Bible just a mashup. They did the best that they could because when they established the church in England, they didn't have a language. It's like, yo, man, we ain't got no language. So when you look at the letter C, that comes out of what? That's the Greek. That's the Greek 100, right? When you look at a D, I want to say a D is 500. The I, that's a 1. A V, that's a 5. The X, that's the number 10. They made those letters in your alphabet. So where did the Persians come from? The Persians, all of them is Indian, right? All of those is Indian. The Persians is Indian. Let me show you again. You look over here, you see Persians, the Luri, the Tajiki, the Hazaragi, all of them go down the Iranian path. See that? The Indo-Iranian, Indo-Aryan, which I told y'all those is Hindus, right? Look at that. They go all the way up into Romania, which is taking you into Roman again. And I was telling people about the word Christ and how they got that from Christos. They got that from Krishna, right? They stole that shit. Remember I was talking about Punjabi, Habibi and them? Y'all be hearing me say that sometimes, right? These are the people I'm talking about. And I wrote a book years ago called This is Raynology. I gotta re-release that book that I wrote. But inside of that one, I was telling people about the Brahmins, right? And how the Brahmins don't like dark-skinned people. They was they was advocating to bleach out India. So them Indians that you see in the day, the Hindus, they look a little bit lighter. Those that look lighter, they was trying to bleach them out, but they couldn't. So they had to mix back in with the 2 albino seeds to get a lighter effect. But they had to move further away because those people they stayed near the Mediterranean, and that's why all these languages and stuff come together like that. Right? And this hadn't been going on since the beginning of time immemorial. This is in the 6,000 year period. That ain't nothing. The Akkadian Empire go back 5,000 years. Just according to their timeline, what they'll tell you, right? They tell you 5,000, you might as well add another zero, call it 50,000, because they wasn't around. And they know that. That's why they attempt to cover everything up, discard everything. But they don't know who they are. And I've been pointing it out to their ass of who they are. They just starting to find out in real time. Like, damn, this motherfucker said we come from the Indian. We come from Punjabi and them. Yeah, you sure do. And Yaqub took those genetics from those 2 albino seeds and tumbled the genes back into the 6 ether Asiatic black man. That's what happened. And they tried to mix in with you too. They did mix in with you. With the Nubian people on the planet. They mixed in with you first. That's how we got taller. We used to be short. Right? The primordial beings that were caretakers of this landscape, Ptah, right? Short little pygmy dude. That's where they get your story of the Smurfs from. That's who Papa Smurf is. It's Ptah. He didn't belong to this dimension. And like I told you guys, in the beginnings, in the origins of the physical universe, there was no landscape for a spirit to come and experience it yet. So you was already connected. This is what I be meaning about you connected to everything. Everything in the physical universe, you had a sentience to connect to all of that. You're cohabiting a planet with beings that don't have the ability to connect to everything, cannot plug its sentience into the physical universe. It can only plug its sentience into this planet. So what about the dark giants? That's a little lofty. You got to be a little bit more clearer. You mean the green giants? Because we the green giants, right? On other planets. And then on this planet, what you referring to as a giant, those beings came here too, because as I'll be talking online and offline with so many people. But what happens is at one point there was no landmass on your planet. Someone had to pull, the land out of the water. And once that started happening, beings that had the ability to exhibit faster than light travel and far off galaxies said, oh shit, that planet has land on it. We can land there without having to broker a deal, or someone came to this planet and brokered a deal with the beings that live beneath the ocean. And whatever that deal was, it allowed the landmass to be bought up out of the water. And they had to wait for the right conditions so it can mine gold. Yeah, it's a 49,000 year trip. That's the physical range of time it takes for a spirit to broker a deal with the custodians in the bloodline and incarnate into a physical seed. When you made that contractual obligation, it took you 49,000 years to incarnate into that seed. That's how long it could take you to cycle back, depending on how much light you have stored from your prior experiences in this reality. So they got a movie called, it's two of them. One called Cloud Atlas, and it's another movie called, what was the name of that movie with Mark Wahlberg? I can't remember the name of it. It's on Prime. And they had the ability to come back into the next life with their full memory intact. But it ain't just happened like overnight. That shit happened across time. You know what I mean? It couldn't just end their life and then come right back the next day, right? So I need to put a movie recommendation. That's a good idea, DJ Lemon Line. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. But in Cloud Atlas, that had Halle Berry, Tom Hanks. When y'all see movies like this and they got all these high profile actors in the movie, and that movie haven't been promoted, watch that shit. Watch it, because they're telling you the truth. They're showing you. They're not telling it to you. They're showing you the truth. But when they kept coming back, they didn't remember what they was doing in the last lifetime, but it was the same group of people still in the same scenario in different positions across lifetimes. And you as a spirit, he said, I could see you write a movie script. So, yeah, I could do that. Thank you, Chef. So what happens is when you, the spirit, you need a vehicle. And you got used to leaving the spiritual universe to come to this one and look for a vehicle in this dimension so you can experience what it's like to be a physical being. Somewhere down the line, you got addicted to it or you got trapped here, some of you. Some of you came here to be educated to a degree to burn out the desire to even want to be this low in density. Thank you, M. Gutias. The movie is called Infinite. Yeah, y'all check that out. It's Infinite, and the other one is Cloud Atlas. Watch those movies. You're gonna be like, damn, man, where's they getting that from? I told y'all they in tune with some of these demiurges and these demigods that exist outside the visible spectrum. They didn't broker deals. It's a whole bunch of brokering that goes on between two groups of people, you know. And that's what happened with the beings on this planet. Some beings from a planet called Ritz came here and brokered a deal with the sea creatures beneath your surface to bring out the landmass so that they could mine gold. This process would take at least 1 billion years. And they didn't sit there and watch it like a house plant. They went to other solar systems and other star constellations in that time. And that caused proverbial crows to come and intercede on the seedings that were placed here by these high evolutionary beings. So when it was time for them to cycle back to this planet, someone had been sleeping in a proverbial bed like Goldilocks. Y'all following what I'm saying? And they created all these extra branches that they had to learn to troubleshoot through in order to finish their experiments or their agenda, which was to mine the gold, right? So what really happened, you know, and it's in the Holy Tablets, chapter 3, and in chapter 1 as well. But a plutonium bomb was shot at these beings' planet, and they had 3 suns that orbit their planet. And the 3 suns that orbit their planet, Apsu, Utu, and Apsu, and Utu, and Shamish, right? Once the ozone layer was removed, the beings that were occupying the planet began to burn. And they had to go back in time. But they got 3 suns that orbited their planet. We orbit our sun. And we do it slow. They got 3 suns that orbit their shit every day. Right? They go through 365-day periods in one day. So when they came to this planet, it was primarily to get the gold so that they could make an artificial ozone layer to stop the radiation, the gamma waves, from reaching the people on the planet and, you know, destroying the ecosystem. And the being that did it wanted to rule over the planet. He wanted some type of ranking on the planet, and it wasn't given to him. It's the same thing that's going on this planet. It's the same type of spirit. You hear me? It's to put everything in its context. There's be a whole bunch of people on a whole bunch of different levels uh, in their journey. And this is why I tell people to ask questions. Which that was a good question that the brother asked. You know, shouts out to Lemon Line. Said when we were younger, we had the Dodgevo. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Dodgevo is. And what is the best way to learn in the Wapik language? You the teacher manual. You got to get the teacher's manual. Okay, what you say about deja vu now? Say our natural disasters natural. Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because I touched on that before. And I said, how you gonna have a natural disaster? No, that shit natural. You created the disaster by putting yourself in alignment in the trajectory of nature. And nature is telling you to stop building these areas and you do it anyway. Right? A lot of times that's the spirits that are trapped here that had died at the hand. Listen, some of those people whose children are still existing and thriving on the land where they people have committed these egregious acts. And them tornadoes be aiming at your ass. You hear me? That bad weather be coming for their ass. Tell me I'm lying. You'll be hard pressed to find a ghetto that got hit by a tornado. So when we get older, do we come to the end of a reincarnation? Back here. I don't know how you got to write that down and then type it in because I don't know what you mean by that. But yeah, it's not no such thing as no natural disaster. That's a false awareness. A natural disaster. That's right. The planet not having that shit. And the spirits that's trapped here is not having it. And like I told y'all, existence co-conspires with you. You don't gotta be a human being for it to co-conspire with you either. That's a whole nother layer. So them people that was sent on the Trail of Tears, those people that got bombed on in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You hear me? Y'all see how them tornadoes be hitting all up in that area? That ain't by chance. Spirit is in the wind. I told you guys that the other day. And some of those souls are tethered to that experience that happened in that area. And some of them will realize that they trapped here. And they start using the elements in the with the planet start working with them. Y'all got to get on this timeline, man. You try to tell y'all like, yo, we not in alignment with the planet. Not in alignment. These are things outside of yourself you need to be acknowledging: the sun, the planet, and the elements. And other people that's on the same type of time that's doing that too. Other than that, build your inner power, right? Build your inner power. Yeah, they call it the Windy City because it's right off of Lake Michigan. So that hawk gonna come. Just like in Detroit, they got the Detroit River, right? And as you keep going east into Lincoln Park, they got Lake Huron. Like the wind be blowing there too. Wherever there's water, there's wind. But I was showing how powerful the spirit is because a place like Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, ain't no water around there. Where that big ass wind coming from? Where's these tornadoes just coming up out of nowhere? Right? And for the people that was lost in the transatlantic slave trade, because that did go on, they took a lot of people from this land and took their ass to Africa and replaced them with people from Africa and brought them people over here. And I use these terminology, I know that's what people understand, that were religious. They were Muslim. Easier to control. It's easier to control somebody that accepts a religious concept versus someone that has an ancestral connection. But the person with an ancestral connection, you just gonna have to knock them off. Those people was jumping in the water like, fuck that, nigga. I'd rather die than let you have me in chains and shit. So that's a false awareness when they're telling y'all, yeah, we bought hundreds of millions of you guys. Man, get the fuck out of here. You thought the damn earth was flat, and all of a sudden you know the you know the ins and outs of slavery. Get the fuck out of here. These are liars, right? They don't even they scared to address how devilish they've been over the last 50 years. They want to remove it from school books. And y'all the ones made the damn school book. Now you want to remove this shit? Yeah, we don't want to talk about what we did in the 60s. And you operate like the brother Hector said earlier, Psalms 14:1. Ain't no good in you. Ain't no God in you. You deny the presence of the divine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we all packed up. Man, please. You know how much money they would lose if they did it like that? In the day, they be smuggling these people in containers and shit. They can't even get on the boat. They put their ass in the container. Because the slavery never stopped, right? Or the forced labor. That's what I'm going to call it. Because slavery is Slavic, Slovenian. That's a group of people. They on the tree too, right? But when it came to the English end of the branch, like I told y'all, they didn't have no language set up. So they started using the grimoire and all that shit to help the people, get a sense of, get some structure to the alphabet system. But they never was taught it. And that's where the English come from, right? The Swiss, the Low German, the Anglo Frisian, right? The Norwegian, the Flemish, the Dutch. They had to dumb it down for these motherfuckers. They had to dumb it down and borrow from. I'm just telling y'all what it is. He said, why is it called the alpha beta system? That's an excellent question. Y'all tap that button, tap the screen. Alpha beta is alpha, which is one or first, and beta, which is second. Alpha beta. Alpha, beta. Alpha and beta. I'll tap the screen for me. I don't know which one. It got to be this one. All right. Alpha, beta. First and second. Right? These beings came second. And this is what they say is the smallest unit of time. It's a second. Right? They don't never cover the first. Right? Because 9 ether beings were here first, and 6 ether beings were here second. You see that? Like the chef say, you picking up what I'm putting down? So you got first and second. That's 1 and 2. You see that? That's your clock. See? Smallest unit of time. They tell you that it's 60 seconds in a minute. When 60 seconds is really like this. See, these type of inconsistencies and the flaws in the writing comes from borrowing from too many alphabet systems. They borrowed from too many alpha beta systems. And the systems they was borrowing from came out the 6 ether being, which is the Hindu, right? Or the Hindu, Indo-Aryan, right? And they call that the Proto-Indo-Euro linguistic tree. Romanian, Greco, French, Dutch, low frequency German. They borrowed all off of that. Now they stole all of the concepts from here. They took all your concepts, your knowledge, your arithmetic. I hope I'm spelling that right. Right? They took all of that shit and they knew it came first, but they attempted to make it look second and make themselves look first. So they can only do that through manipulation of time and cover it up with the language, knowing that you wasn't going to go look that shit up. That's why they tell you the best place to hide something from a nigga is in the book. And that's no coincidence that they said that. And they're not being held accountable. Now, every time someone comes for you people, well, you not eat the woolly haired people in the New World of North America, and you reject them. You just keep rejecting them every time, and you still crying wolf. But you refuse to address the deficiencies of the moral character of the beings that you learning from, who you adapted to, who you're getting your social cues from. And all you got to do is return to that which which reflects you. It'll raise your esteem. It'll give you a true sense of pride instead of a false sense of pride. Right? But they came second. The beta. They need you to be on a beta wave, which is reactionary. Everybody do reactionary videos nowadays. Responding. Right? Reactionary and respond. That's what the beta wave operates on. I want to say that's between 9 and 12 hertz. They don't want you on the alpha frequency because then you on the flow. Right? Now you will start aligning with what came first. Not what they tell you came first, but what actually came first. He can't tell you that because he wasn't there. He didn't belong to none of those communities. Even their own people know that and be calling them on their bullshit. I gotta give it up to the Pale people that answered that call, man. Because I put it out there like, hey man, y'all gotta start calling y'all own people out. Call them out. You got survivor remorse, call your own people out on their bullshit. Pull up the receipts with people, put it out there, propagate it, and it's been happening. They be trying to shadow ban the shit out of it. I just found out today, the white man that turned everybody on to Simeon Coco, the Black Jesus, the brother they call the Black Jesus, who they tried to kill, who they did unalive over 1,000 times, and he still kept coming back. I just found out that they assassinated that dude for putting that story out. Y'all know about that? I didn't even know that. I'm like, damn, man, they killed him. They didn't want that story to be out there, man. You know, it doesn't hurt their lives. It doesn't help their lives. He said it's 3 of them. I'm not certain what you mean. No, the guy that broke the story on Simeon Coco, he put all of the information together and put it out there. And within a year's time, he ended up dead. You know what I mean? His body was washing the shore or some shit. I was watching that this morning. I was like, damn. Right? But a lot of them do their due diligence and they do look to whistleblow. I got to give it up to some people out there that do that. Right? They do it. They know it. They're not morally deficient. Like, fuck that, man. I got to say something. Even if it costs me my life, I'm going to still say something and put it out there and let people know. It's just everybody else operating on fear. They on that beta wave, right? they too concerned about the reaction. Yep, you're right, Miguel. Every person that they came up with a hydro engine, they didn't kill them. Except the one little brother. Shouts out to him, man. I say a prayer for you every night, brother. The brother, he on the Instagram with the dreads. And he said they trying to kill him. They be trolling him and stuff. I forgot his name. I follow him on TikTok. On Instagram. They be trying to, they suppress his videos. Anything that will enlighten you. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah, man. We got to stop acting like they not, like these motherfuckers ain't trying to play boogeyman with our ass. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made the gas out of plastic. You know, I remember when people started making engines out of cooking oil or formatting they diesel engines to take, cooking oil. See, what you're doing is you're relinquishing the control that they have over the populace when you make moves like that. And then it's a natural alternative. And everybody knows it's wrong, but we're too scared to take a stand, man. Too worried about your job. You're too worried about the bank. When your job, your bank, everybody need to be in on the same page and be like, look, man, if I ain't going to the bank to send the bill, how you gonna get it? You hear me? If I'm not penalizing my workers for not showing up for work, how they gonna get penalized? Let's just all sit this thing out together and don't look to harm one another, because we're not enemies of one another. And see what happens. All the way up to election time. And you'll see the horns come out the devil. them horns, them horns gonna come out. You hear me? Them horns gonna come out. And it's like, damn, these motherfuckers the devil. You got the demon man. D-man. That means less than man. I seen somebody, what's that, Unc 607, he said that the other day, there ain't no such thing as demonic. Shit, bullshit. Bullshit. Saying it's a state of mind and all that. Nah, man. It's demons for real. They on a demonic frequency. I don't vibrate that low. All you understanding is English. Right? All you understanding is the Proto-Indo-Euro-linguistic tree. Romania. Right? Rowan the man. Just like the Greek before them. Right? The French. Don't act like the French ain't real freaky. Come on now. Just for educational purposes only, TikTok. Educational and entertainment. You're putting on the show. Don't take this out of context. Right? But when you're on the alpha wave, that's the flow state. Right? That's harmony. You become harmonic. When you're on the beta wave, you open to chaos and demonic frequency. Demonic means mono. Going against one, going against the harmonics of harmony. They gotta have chaos. Right? And non-ether beings, we don't operate with chaos. We operate with order. We have a masculine approach to things. We know how to penetrate, men and women. Right? We know how to make ourselves known. We know how to make ourselves seen. And the way that we process knowledge based on our mentality, we got to know it. Right? We want to know. We don't want to have faith. We don't want to believe. Now, when you get to the sixth ether, albino, they're feminine. They're the opposite end of the pole. They're feminine, meaning that they have the ability to seduce. You hear me? It's hidden. It's inside what they're attempting to do. It's not outside. They don't like to put their shit on Front Street. They're not going to get no 24s or nothing like that. But they'll get something nice. And I'm just putting this in context for you. Because those are two different extremes. In the middle of that is the sixth ether Hindu. You know, he masculine and feminine. They call that hermaphrodite. That's different from the trans. No disrespect to the trans community. I'm not looking to disrespect nobody here. But you do have hermaphrodites on the planet, and they are born with a male genitalia and a female genitalia. You hear me? That's why when they be showing you the Vedic pantheon, a lot of those deities don't look masculine at all. They look kind of you can't tell if it's a female or a male, right? Face too pretty. Like, damn, I used to think Krishna was a woman. I'm like, damn, that's a man. They're like, yeah. I'm like, I thought that was a woman, right? But that's their mentality. They got a balanced nature. You knew a hermaphrodite? Yeah, they for real. Like, that stuff do exist. You got certain, that's what the Andromeda galaxy, the beings from Andromeda, that's where you get the word androgynous. You can hear the phonetics, right? Shouts out to the Phoenicians who helped bring the Indo-Euro tree together for those that couldn't read and write. I mean, there's information out there, man. The information is out there. But I've been watching a lot of teacher videos and looking at what teachers have to say in regards to the development of the Western mind. And these children are reading on a 4th grade reading level or less. They lacking critical thinking. They can't even critically think, man. They're using words and don't even know what it means. Ain't nothing wrong with using them. Like, do you know what that means? Nah, I don't. Why do you say it? Very limited vocabulary. No interest in reading. A person with competent focus and concentration could watch something for 7 minutes without stopping. You know what I mean? It's due to your reward center, which they got that with the cell phones now. You know, the Pavlovian area of the brain is stimulating the ventricular area, right? That's where the reward center is in your brain. And they done found a way to stimulate that area of your brain without you having to pay for something. Just by going through your cell phone, it depletes your drive to live and be motivated to do things and express yourself. That's right. It's a dopamine. That dopamine is hitting that reward center. It's called the ventricular area. That's why some people just be scrolling all day, just keep scrolling, keep scrolling. We didn't all become big, we all guilty of doing that at some time or another. That's why when I'm off my phone, I'm off my phone. If I'm not editing video, I put that shit all the way down. I put it into the plug and walk away from it. And become present here. Start saying mantras. Start saying affirmations. Right? Don't look at your phone just because it done buzz. If it ain't nobody calling you, even if it is, if you're doing something, keep doing what you're doing first. Finish that and then go back to it. Don't let nothing interrupt you from maintaining the flow state. Stop being reactionary and responsive. They tell you, oh, you got a new notification, new notification, new notification. You ain't got to check every notification. I come back, it'd be 99 plus notifications. I'm like, all right, shit, let me just keep it there and keep doing what I was doing. Now I check my emails. I check my website, but that's on my laptop. That's not on my phone. See, I'll be having to trick my own self out. Because I told y'all the final boss is your own mind. You don't think Dr. Ray be having to go to war with his own self? Because of how I've already been conditioned and wired to be? I'm giving y'all a lot of my cheat codes that I use against my own self because I know that they work. I'm a fixed sign. So imagine that. Even my internal attributes, just according to that, to the zodiac wheel, which has a strong magnetism attached to it. You got to learn how to transcend the zodiac as well. It takes a high degree of detachment. And it's connected to the occult nerves in your brain. I figured that out some years ago. I want to say back in 2014, I figured out about the astrology. And I knew I was onto something because I started seeing people on my timeline. And all of them were saying that they don't follow astrology no more. They're not into the zodiac. Like that, none of that stuff matter no more. And it wasn't one person. It wasn't two person. It wasn't three or four. And none of those people had the same friends as me. And that's how I knew. I was like, oh man, I'm owning something here. Right? But you do got to get that monoatomic gold. Not that Ormus. Ormus is okay, but that shit is not monoatomic. You got to get that gold in your body. That's the type of metal on a monoatomic level that you need in order to unify the left and right hemispheres of your brain. It balances out the hormonal natures of the feminine aspects and the masculine aspects of who you are physically. So you can process it correctly and not overreact, underreact, or not even react at all when it's required. Right? You can regulate your flow state. And if you do that consistently, you become receptive to the gamma state. That's the gamma wave. That's for creation. That's the creation wave. And once you get into a flow with that, like when I be working with the orgone, I get such into a flow state that I look up and I done finished everything that I done went out there to do. I'm like, damn. I want something else to do. I'm in my flow state. That's what led to me doing shirts and hats and all of that stuff. And I want to start doing soaps and lotions. That's the next step. Because I got enough flow. I got enough energy build up, positive energy, right? That's detached from that beta state, that beta wave of the sixth ether being. It's like, no, I'm not seeing that. I seen that years ago. And my pops, he in here. I seen you, pops. I wrote a book. I was telling him about the book, What is Rainology? And I never finished my point with that, with the Brahmins. And I was telling people back then that the six ether Hindus are the fathers of the albino Hindu, what you call the Caucasians or Europeans. The Arabs, those are Hindus. The Iranians, the Pakistanians, those is Hindus. Even the so-called Israelites or the Jews or the Ashkenaz, all of those, they are albino Hindu. I'm telling you. When you go to the hospital, you got a Punjabi doctor. Tell me I'm lying. When you go pump your gas, it's Punjabi. It ain't the Arab dude. It's Punjabi. When you call customer service, it's Punjabi. When you go to the dentist, it's Punjabi. You almost have Punjabi sitting in the presidential seat. Instead, they settled for the director of the FBI. I know what I'm talking about. Shouts out to the Patel family. I know the Patel family. I don't know all of them, but I know some branches of Patels. And they run every hotel. They run the hotel industry in your country. Those are the six ether beings. Right among you don't even know it. Never knew it. The mayor of New York, I want to say he Punjabi too. Now they starting to make them superheroes in your. I was telling, what? There go my pop. He said you on point. Remember I was telling people years ago, pops. Remember that? Years ago, my pops could bear witness to it. Like, man, don't nobody never look at them. And I'm not, I love my Indian brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? I do my Sri Lakshmi mantras and all of that. But these are things that need to be addressed. You can't just gloss over them and act like they're not happening. Because they are happening. And they have happened. They almost had Kamala Harris sitting in the damn seat. I had a lot of you so-called black people fooled, thinking that she was a sister. She's like, no, I'm not that. I'm Dolly. D-A-L-I. Look it up. Those are Eastern Indians that moved to the West Indies. Why do you think they call it the West Indies? You can't gloss past that. When you start talking about the Arawaks, the Taino, right? The Aztecs, the Incas, the Mayans, they came in there somewhere and tried to mix in. They got booted out. That's what happened to the Mayans. They got booted out and sent back to Indonesia because they was doing blood sacrifices. And we didn't need to make no blood sacrifice to make a connection because our third eye was open. But they like to use blood sacrifices because it give you a quicker result. It brings forth the beings on the top of their labyrinths, which they got pyramids too. They call it ziggurats. Nobody know nothing about the Hindu. You don't even care about them. All you you just go out or just go straight into Jesus, Enoch, the angels. And you got a whole nother group of people over here that got some type of celestial connection that you ain't even acknowledged. You don't even like, man. Same and their fathers, who was the Dahavidians, who you call the Aborigines in Australia, that used to be a part of Ganawa too. They cut that shit off. Anu cut that off. Like, nah, man, y'all got to go over there. You can't mix in with my people. Who told you to come here? When they spent the block, check on their creation, they like, whoa, hold on. Who the fuck told y'all to come here? We cut that shit off. That's why the land is cut the way that it's cut. Because every time that he spent the block and came back, it was beings from other star constellations coming here and attempting to corrupt what he seeded. This is what's been going on. So when you're looking at them Aborigines, that's the first Hindu. And they dark skin. They got big nose just like you, big lips, but their hair different. Their hair texture. That's what differs between you and the Asiatic black man. He mixed in with you and caused you to rust. And he needs more oxygen than you do. He called it prana. We called it sakim. And we dealt with nitrogen and magnesium and potassium and chlorophyll. When too much nitrogen gathers in the atmosphere, it starts to create lightning. Right before it starts to create that lightning, and then the thunder that comes that precedes it, before that occurs, if you look at the sky, it kind of look green. You ever notice that? Anytime it's about the thunderstorm, the sky kind of look greenish. That's nitrogen that you're looking at. And that's what you used to breathe in. You didn't breathe in oxygen. The oxygen was isolated to the water at one time. And the clouds used to be black with purple lining. And you operated from who you was, the spirit. That's right, he said the nitro boosts in video games are green. Yeah, that's no coincidence. I didn't even know that shit. But I know about nitro and I know about the natir, NTR, number 7, right? That's for the 7 heaven or the 7 spectrums of color, right? Within the electromagnetic color spectrum. which some of you guys refer to as the firmament, which is nothing but the planet's auratic shell or its auratic field, right? That's what you're looking at. That's what you just signed up to be a part of. And once upon a time, right, when we were incarnating here, that's what we was breathing in. The stargates was open and we could move back and forth between universes, certain nodes on the planet. So when you're seeing that stuff on Eastern Island, the temples in the Nazca Strip in South America, Teotihuacan, those pyramids in Mexico, you hear me? The different mound sites across America, which were labyrinths, those were landing stations with beings that were brokering deals with the beings on this planet from a whole nother universe. They didn't even come from this universe, man. And don't tell me that the Caucasians got some type of connection like that because they thought the fucking world, they didn't even know this end of the world even existed, this end of the planet. That's what I was telling y'all yesterday. Old York became New York once they came to the new world. They call this the new world. So when they're telling you about the new world order, they're talking about the new world where they're going to establish their order on. Right? This is the new England. This is the new Hampshire. This is the new Delaware. Right? This is the new Jersey. We ain't going to worry about the old one. We got a new one. And they couldn't get rid of all of those people. They're like, shit, we get put their ass on the boats that we came in here on. They didn't even care where that shit landed. Then they started thinking about business, right? Started thinking of the Rothschilds, because they were the ones that were brokering these excavations, especially once they found out that it was more land over here, because they didn't come to here first. They came here last. That's why it was new. So those terminologies that they're using are telling you what type of timeline that they was on and how long ago that was. That wasn't that long ago. It wasn't. You got a bunch of immigrants. It was the Polish, the Irish, the Italians, the French, and the English. You hear me? And then the Catholics started coming over and making their ass run because it was a warrant for the arrest of King Henry VIII from the Jesuit priests. And they was looking for Englishmen over here. That's why they started coming over here and setting up Catholic church and stuff like that, looking for people from their own thing. They was calling the indigenous people heathens because they didn't believe in Jesus Christ. Go get that book America by John Oglesby. Get the book America. Because he's showing you that we was already here. Woolly haired, nappy head nigger. I mean, hair like Don King. John Oglesby. You know, they're going to try to scrub the internet down with this, but I don't care. John Oglesby. The name of the book is America. We were the tobacco slingers. We sold tobacco. Old Tobacco Road, South Carolina, North Carolina. Come on, man. We've been doing that. They just restricted my live. You see that? They just restricted it. All that do is just confirm what I'm telling you. Like I tell you, I'm not here to lie to y'all. Y'all know that. But they don't want people to know this. We need to be getting educated. You will go through 4 years of Harvard and they won't tell you this shit. I just read a report. They said 67% of the graduates, there's no jobs available for them. They didn't spend all that money at Harvard. That was a money grab. College is a money grab. Yeah, that's right. That's why I got the Google chat. A lot of y'all need to come join us on Google chat. We're gonna go there next after we come off of here. I ain't gonna go to YouTube next. I'm gonna go to the Google chat, man. Chop it up with the tech community. Because y'all can ask y'all questions more freely and you can get on the mic over there. Right? Now you see what I'm talking about, Zay. I think you done tapped into one of the lives we had over there. Right? But it's like, man, please. I'm not gonna kiss TikTok ass like that. I'm not. I can't help it. I had too much integrity. You know what I mean? I want to help them sell the products and make money off of it, but at the expense of what I got to go through, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just build my own community, and those that really want to learn something and have questions, they come to the 1089 tech space. Period. And they get the results. I'm a result-based, effort-based teacher. But they don't want to see you win. If they wanted to see you win, you'll be winning right now. They don't want you to win. They want you repressed. They want you dormant. They want you worrying. They want you being reactionary and responding to everything instead of operating in a flow state. And then making it abundantly clear that that's what they want. And a lot of people just go for it. You know, they go for it. And it's like, man, too much blood, sweat, and tears that have been poured into the liberation of the Western mind for people not to take the initiative. And there are people that do take the initiative, but that's not being propagated. The beings that run the media over here, they don't need that. I told y'all, it's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Carnegie Group, and the Ford Company. Right? This shit's still running on that same template. Home, job, money in the bank. Home, job, money in the bank. To get a home, you got to get a loan. That's where the Rothschilds come into play, and the Rockefellers, right? The Rockefellers move the product, the wood and the piping and all that shit, them in the Warburgs. You might as well call it the Rockefellers because they married in together. You follow? Some type of way. Everybody work for their company, or you work for the Ford company to build cars. Then you send your children to their schools because they the ones that invested in what you're calling American curriculum and education. They the ones that bought all your textbooks and conditioned and programmed and set up the educational system to make you come work for them. That's what that shit's set up for. Right? Work, job, money in the bank. Home, job, money in the bank. Home, job, money in the bank. And you got to devote 8 hours of your day, 5 days a week. It used to be 7 days a week. It's like, hey, why don't we get 2 people 2 days off? And it wasn't always like that. And that wasn't even 100 years ago. And people don't want to look back that far. Y'all want to go back. Hey, what about Atlantis? Like, nigga, what about 100 years ago? When they had us out there building train tracks with the with the goddamn with the Asians who also mixed in with us, the Orientals. Why you think they stay in the hood with you? They don't stay in the hood. They sell you stuff out the hood, but they not gonna let them sell to them. They like, no, you can't make no money off of us, Asian man, Oriental man. Go down there in the hood, go to the South Side, and you can make money off the wayworks, but you can't make none off us. They put their resources and their money together, and they buckle down, and they only spend what they own. You will be hard pressed to find Oriental people at the gas station. Not in case you stay in San Jose, right? You stay in San Francisco or somewhere, you can see them. But other than that, you're not gonna see no Orientals at the gas station. I don't care what city you in. You're not gonna see them in Walmart. You're not gonna see them in Target and shit like that. You're gonna see your black ass there. Because y'all don't know how to take a stand and be like, fuck that, man. I'm gonna go for shop with brother Jamal. So what? I gotta go all the way across town. So what? His price is higher. I gotta go fuck with him. You know what I mean? Shouts out to my Hindu people again. Like, they got their own stores. You don't see them. They're not gonna be in line with you at the grocery store. They selling your ass gas. You don't never see them pumping gas. You hear me? I know what I'm talking about. I've been at this 29 years. And I don't think I know it all. But I'm just giving y'all the gist of whatever I've experienced and what I perceived and what I've observed. Right? I got to put it out there and let you know. Because ain't nobody else doing it. It's like, damn, man, mother. I mean, the writing was on the wall for me. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I've been said they ran the hotels. The Wyndham Group, that's them. I'm telling you. But it's time for us to get on that page and start opening up grocery stores, doing some community living. You know what I mean? It could be done. It could be done. We just got to put our personal feelings to the side and be willing to help our people and put our people in a position to win. Shouts out to Big Meats. I got to get at the Big Meats. I watched one of his videos or one of the interviews they did on him. And that's the one thing that he said. He's like, man, you know what be holding our people back? It's like we get in a position to win and then we don't won, but we don't put nobody else in a position to win. And that's what made him an effective leader and he had such a long run how he did. Because he put other people in position to win. And nigga done won already. Damn. You know what I mean? He was like, everybody that I put in a position to win, they knew everybody in the hood, but they wasn't on. Like, man, how come you ain't on? How come you ain't put your man on? Like, I don't want him to be on. Like, no, we got to get off of that shit, man. You got to want everybody to win. You should want that for your own people. But if you don't have a sense of identity, it's going to be very difficult for you to get in that mode. You're going to end up being a poper of someone else's identity. That's why so many niggas spend so much money on Louis and Gucci. Them are Italians. They look at you and they say, Mulian. They call you a mook. They got all type of little names for your ass. And a smile right in your face and take your money. That shit got to end, man. How many more generations? How many more generations got to endure that shit? And don't tell me niggas ain't got no money, because niggas do. I'm talking about the niggas that's up. All them niggas is up, man. Y'all got shit. Man, please. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You should be running some shit, not some fucking little block, not some fucking music industry. Where is the manufacturing going on with you niggas? And don't tell me it's not available and that it's not accessible, because that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. But like I tell y'all, the power of the natural is at play. The power of your ancestors and your dearly departed is at play. The powers of the elements and the planet is always at play. All you got to do is get in alignment with it, right? And watch how shit start changing. Watch how you start evolving and being disconnected from this crap to the point that you can start to control it. You're not in its matrix. Now it ends up in your matrix. And it has to adhere to what you want it to do. So where's the farm to table trucking the system? Exactly. Like none of that could happen if you don't have something that reflects you. We don't have an identity. That's why I'm always wearing IRA. I'm always got something on with the Happy Nile Valley, because that's the easiest thing for us to connect to, right? I seen 3 people today that was so-called black, and they was all brothers. And every single one of them was like, hey, what's up, my man? They didn't even know me. They just seen what I had on and was like, oh, yeah. My man, what's up, brother? Brought a smile to their face. You know what I mean? Not that it's that deep right now, but it is. Because it's like, oh, shit, he not wearing no, he don't got no basketball team or no football team on his hat. Nah. Wear our own sigils. That shit be pissing the pink man off. Oh, you know that's the devil. I'd be like, no, you the devil. I told a dude that the other day. That shit fucked him up. I had an unk around my neck. He's like, excuse me, sir. You know that unk represents the devil. I said, no, you the devil, motherfucker. This unk represents life. He felt stupid as hell. Try to belittle me because I got some pride for something that reflects me. Telling you, these motherfuckers be disturbed. They hate to see you have pride, to have zeal, to be happy about who you are. They want you to be condemned for that. Now I say, fuck you. Nigga, if I had enough damn rest, I have a big fucking 6-foot pyramid outside in my front lawn. Turn a fucking whole crib into a pyramid on your goofy ass. You know what I mean? You know what the fuck I represent. Everybody know. They see me on it because they already know. I yell it from the mountaintops. They like, man, at least he does know who he is. Even if it is off. That don't matter. I look at the tombs of the children of Akhenaten and I can see myself. They done pulled out the picture of Akhenaten and lined it up with Barack Obama. The shit kind of looked like Barack Obama. And I'm not saying it's direct descendant of Barack. I'm just telling you the reflection that going back to that the Lion King story, right? When they told Simba to look into the water and he seen his father. And that's when he realized he wasn't Simba. He realized that he was the king. He followed. He literally had to see his own reflection. And then he seen his father in his reflection. And that's what you got to do. Brother, sister, mother, father, child. You got to see that. You will start seeing. That's why I give it up to my Supreme Grandmaster teacher. And he said, hey, so what you ain't seen that new? Well, what color is he? What color did I show him to you as? What his hair look like? What his nose look like? What his pigmentation look like? Don't it feel good to refer to something that look like you, that has a narrative and a story that's held in high regard? Shit feel good, don't it? Motherfuckers couldn't do nothing but agree with that. And that's why they hated that man. You start looking through the books and you start seeing different pictures. That shit look like you. You see about 9 or 10 pictures, like, damn, this look like me. Right? Start giving you a sense of pride. You start standing with your back straight. Start pulling your pants up. You start exhibiting intellect. You start carrying yourself a lot better. They don't want you to do, they want you to be a rapper. Right? And rappers ain't nothing but, they like the Peter Piper to send your ass to prison. That's what they doing to y'all young niggas. You're not gonna make it out. You think you're gonna get out of some street shit and build some Fortune 500 company? No. They're not gonna let you do. Second you sign that contract, you signed your life away. And they all saying the same exact shit. It's like, man, how much more dope chopping can we do? How much more? I mean, if you do your thing, do your thing. But we don't need to fucking be rapping about that shit. For real. Because you encouraging other people to do it and go to prison. And you're not paying a lawyer fee or none of that shit. So why you doing it? You know what I'm saying? Why you doing that to people? You sending niggas to jail and then try to justify it. Oh man, it ain't up to me if they do. Some nigga, they ain't got nothing else. That's all they got. Nigga, give them an alternative. You got all that fucking money. You should be building. I'm so pissed at Jeezy, Jay-Z, all of they ass. It's like, okay, I know y'all niggas from the street. I get it. But after 10 years of being away from the street, my nigga, you still rapping the same shit to the next generation. You the devil. You are the devil. You're not even giving people an alternative to aspire for something. When I seen Jay-Z do American Gangster, I was like, this nigga's he's a sellout. Fuck that Denzel Washington is in the movie. So he wasn't in the movie. Yeah, I'm gonna do a whole soundtrack, American Gangster. It just remind me of my dope boy days. Nigga, get the fuck out of here. I gotta give it up to oh yeah, I know about Payroll Giovanni. No. I gotta give it up to 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson. You know what I mean? He employs his people. For real. He showed you the alternative. Even during his rise, he told you fuck the hood. He told y'all fuck the hood back in 2005. I remember that. That's why I fuck with. I was like, man, I gotta fuck with this nigga. I'm like, fuck that, man. I ain't in the hood. I've been trying to get out of that shit a long time. Know what I mean? Fuck the hood. You make that money, you will provide opportunity for your people so that they can advance themselves further. That's what we're supposed to be doing with one another. It's very difficult when you have a poor sense of who you are. It's very difficult. Because now you don't have no integrity and you can easily be bought. And anyone that can easily be bought can easily be sold. And the temperament of your character and your morality has been corrupted. You hear me? And you start to depreciate. You start to depreciate. Your stock don't go up, that shit go down. Right? Shit go down. And y'all don't see it. I was talking about the NBA the other day and how most of these players that are becoming successful in what you call the NBA, they not from this country. Most of your MVPs, they not from this country. They not here. They not from here. And it's a brother on what's the name? He's on the Detroit Pistons. His last name Green, like mine. And order for him, he played on a Division I school. He had a good record at that school, but he went undrafted. He literally had to leave America, go to Turkey, transfer to Romania or Serbia or somewhere, and then after playing over there a couple of years, he got picked up for a team for the Detroit Pistons over here. But he had to leave America because the people, they don't take the people in America serious no more when it comes to basketball. For real. This whole wave of generation of niggas is artificial white people. I'm going to say that one more time. This whole new wave, right? From 2000 up, the niggas that was born after 2000, y'all are synthetic Western Caucasians. American Caucasian. That's you on that 6 ether albino frequency, man. For real. In the hood, niggas, that's white people over there in the UK right now, they more advanced than our group of 20 to 26. He said, I was born in 2000, man. Yeah, but see, you're not trying to be on that frequency, though. You're not putting yourself on that timeline. I'm saying the people that they just all in. Like, man, it's a different type of nigga now. See, they be wearing fingernail polish and shit. Lip liner. Wearing women's clothes. Come on, man. We ain't gonna act like we ain't been seeing that. Tight pants. Like, man, why your pants so tight? Oh, that's the style now, OG. He must got some little ass nuts. Because I can't put no tight pants on. My damn nuts will be my scrotum is gonna be suffocated. I don't even see. Like, shit. Damn. You know. Nikola Jokic. Dirk Nowitzki. I know he kind of old now. Tony Parker. Manu Ginobili. These is champions, right? These are top tier players that's on the ranking. Listen, with LeBron James. Except for Dirk. But Dirk beat LeBron. But that's neither here nor there. Shea Gilchrist Alexander. He not American. Who's the other one? Victor Wembanyama. He the new dude. He not from America. The little brother that's on the team with Giannis. Thank you, Giannis. He not American. These is all MVPs too. They done won MVPs and all type of shit. Final MVPs. So every year they like, yo, we need to go somewhere else. They bring in a bunch of African brothers. You be thinking that they from here, but because they look like they from here, but they not. And like, yeah, we moved here to America when I was in the 3rd grade. I'm from Nigeria. A lot of Frenchmen, a lot of Turks. They're not taking chances on Americans no more. You've been used up. You no good to them. They like, yo, man, y'all done built the country for us. We don't need you no more. Yeah, Hakeem, he wasn't from here either. Like I could go down the line. We could go all day. We could go all day with the foreigners that they came and took over the NBA. They took that shit over, man. And took it over. And primarily because we don't know who we are. We have no identity. That's how we get caught up in scandal the way that we do. We can't even build a wall around ourselves when you don't have an identity. You don't got an elder to refer to. No disrespect to, I felt like Lila Africa should have been revered in a greater vein than what was his name? Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory was a comedian. He might have integrated himself into activism, but that doesn't mean, like Malcolm X said, like, man, please, man, why we always got to refer to entertainers to be the voice of our people? Mm-mm. They didn't want Malcolm X to be the voice. They didn't want things to go through his filter. And like I said, every time somebody sit to the so-called black people in the New World and North America, y'all reject them. That's what be fucking y'all up. Every time that somebody come to y'all and y'all reject them, that make them go in on you even harder. That make them go in on your children even harder. Look what happened when they locked up Baba. Man, so many niggas started falling. They let Barack Obama become the president. More police slain niggas under his administration in the history of fucking America. They was killing niggas left and right. I was like, damn, man, I don't even want to go nowhere. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. That was the best time to stay in the hood and not travel nowhere. And none of those people got arrested. None of those police officers that slain them people unjustifiably, none of them have been brought to justice. But they took the life of somebody in the name of justice. And then, listen, you didn't do nothing better with this reality than whatever that being was doing. So it doesn't equate when you took that person's life. Not to say that it make it right, but if you were so justified in the unaliving of these people that you've unalived under the decree of your law enforcement, then you should be helping at least 10, at the time of the egregious act, you should have helped at least over 10,000 people develop the ability to leap 2 or 3 generations. And you not doing stuff at that rate. You shouldn't have no gun in your hand. If I was writing the laws, that go for anybody. In order for you to get a gun, you would have to further the education of some children that's not your own. At least it'll compensate for the loss of life. If and when you should have to use your weapon and end somebody's life. Isn't that not fair? I feel like all conflicts need to be put into a public domain. Put their ass in the ring and let them duke it out. I don't care if it's a man and a woman. If that woman feel like she want to be justified, get your ass in the ring with that nigga. Go ahead. Y'all duke that shit out. But he a man. Hey, you want your justice, go ahead. You better go get with John Claude Van Damme or Johnny Cage or somebody and see it or end it. This will start making people make better decisions because they don't want to get in that damn ring. It'll start to expose people's true nature. If you say, yeah, man, you want to get you an AR-15? Okay, you see those little black kids over there in Florida that stay in that project? Okay, you need to set up 10 trust funds and we'll let you get that AR-15. Motherfuckers will stop using weapons. People will stop having conflict. They'll start, I'm telling you, they'll start conducting themselves in a better manner. You will start seeing less crime. You won't have to put government funding in the areas. But see, like I told y'all, this country ran by 5 families. And they want to keep it that way. But their infrastructure is falling. Those systems no longer can hold up no more. All them children born after 2010, man, to 2010 forward, man, they fucked. There's 13 families that run the so-called free world, right? But it's 5 families. That's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Warburgs, the Carnegie, and the Ford family. Those are the 5 families that the social engineering program of the 1900s and right now is built off of. Home, job, bank, money in the bank. Home, job, money in the bank. That's the American dream. The resources to build a house came from the Rockefellers, the train tracks and all that shit. They came from the Warburgs, their factories and shit. You had to work with them. You want to build, you want a job, you had to come with the Ford company. You put your money in a Rothschild's fucking bank and you live happily ever fucking after. They educate you enough, not enough to want to be an entrepreneur, to have drive and determination to start something on your own, but just to want to go to work. And everywhere where you take a vacation, they own that shit too. They own every move that you making. They already own that shit. You just giving, you working for them. You living for these families. Now the Italians came over here and was like, fuck that. We not living for you motherfuckers. Same thing with Marcus Garvey. That's out to Marcus Garvey. He came like, yo, man, we gonna put some shit together and get the fuck out of here. Then. You ain't gonna let us come here and play ball? Then guess what? We gotta get the fuck out of here. Because he seen what was going on. He came from Jamaica. The people that's born here, you in the grimoire. You can't really see it until you leave off of these shores. You have to leave these shores, go visit somewhere else, see how things are functioning and how the people operate and interact with each other. Then come back here and you can see all the bullshit that you've been unwittingly accepting all of your life. And same for your mothers and your fathers and their mothers and fathers. You will see like, damn, man, we shit fucked up over here. Right? I was talking to one of my nephews a few months ago, and he was telling me how he had visited Vancouver. And in Vancouver, they give $1,000 to the homeless people. All the homeless people get a check. They get a check every month. I'm like, damn, how they get a check every month? They don't got nowhere to live. Like, yo, if they don't stay in the shelters, you know, they take their names, and that's they country give them that money. They don't have to pay for no health care and dental care and insurance. They don't have to do that in other countries. Only here. Only here do they do that shit. They charge your ass for everything. You hear me? Tell me I'm lying. That's sad. But this stuff got to be addressed, and people got to be sick of it. You're too comfortable in your programming and be like, oh, no, fuck that. They just restricted my live again, y'all. We going to get on off here. It's about to be 10111. They want me off of here. Y'all come meet me in the tech space. Y'all want to continue this dialogue. We'll keep going on. But for everybody else, you know, peace and love. May the ancestors be with you. Come join us in San Antonio, July the 25th for the Ancestral Altar Activation Workshop. And that'll be that. All right. Defer to the website. Link is in the bio. See you guys again later.